Cascade Hoops Talk. Billy D here. This is day 3 of our announcement of our Cascade Hoops Talk Crossroads Cascade Classic Tournament beginning in November of 2022. Mark your calendar. Hey, today we're going to talk to Steve Drabyn, head coach of the Bethel Pilots out of the Crossroads League, and Eddie Alexander, head basketball coach at Bushnell University out of the Cascade Collegiate Conference. Hang on just one moment and they'll be with us. So Cascade Hoops Talk, Billy D here. Hey, I'm blessed to have Eddie Alexander, head coach of Bushnell University, along with Steve Drabyn, head coach Bethel Pilots. Guys, I really appreciate you taking the time this morning. How you guys doing?
Doing very well, Billy. I appreciate you having me on and Coach over there at Bushnell. And we're really excited about this event. You mentioned Rico Swanson shot in 98 against Oregon Tech. I was actually just talking about that yesterday. Dr. Engbrand, who worked here for many years as a VP, was at that game. And so I just was talking about this event here coming up next year, and really excited about it.
Go ahead, Eddie.
We're pretty excited. I mean, obviously, Bushnell, we've got a historic basketball heritage, just not necessarily on the national level at the NAIA level, but joining the NAIA in 2007, 2008, I believe. It's only been around for about 13 years at this level, and having made the national tournament twice in our history, or 3 times, excuse me. So we're looking forward to getting ourselves on a consistent level on the national level, and having the opportunity to play against a couple of these historic programs at the NAIA level is pretty exciting for us.
You know, Eddie, you probably were going to have a chance to go out to Indiana and sneak up on some people because, you know, you have a very, very good program, and I think you're really building a powerhouse down there in Eugene. But as you said, I think you joined the Cascade in 2005. So when you compare to the other 3 schools in this tournament, you're kind of the newcomer. I mean, it's really a chance for you to leapfrog and get on that national stage, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we had a 2014, 16, and 17 in our 3 nationals appearances, and I was an assistant coach on the 2017 staff, 2016-17 staff that year, and so we got a taste of what it was like to go to nationals. And then when I took over the program in 2018, it was, we were kind of starting from scratch again. It's been the start of my 4th year as a head coach, and it's been a little bit of a rebuilding process, but I think we've done it right. We committed a couple of years ago to go young, not to really focus on any transfers, but to really build a program that would produce a bunch of 4-year players. It's starting to pay dividends. Coming into this season, this is the deepest team we've ever had since I've been there as an assistant even. And so we're pretty excited about the level of talent that we have and just the quality and the character of the young men that we've focused on bringing in. Hopefully this is a start of something really special for our program.
And Steve, on the other end of the spectrum, I mean, you take over a program with a long, long, proud history there at Bethel. You're now entering your post-Travion Cruz era. I mean, yeah. How do you see this tournament and this exposure? How is it good for Bethel?
Oh, for sure. So taking over this program a couple of years ago, it was exciting for me growing up in this area. I grew up in LaPorte, Indiana, about an hour away. And you can't start talking about Bethel men's basketball tradition without talking about, 2 coaches, Coach Homer Drew and Coach Mike Lightfoot. Coach Lightfoot was here for 30 years and won 794 games and, 3 national titles and, all the success that he had. So the expectations are high, and that's one of the reasons I was drawn to the job was the expectations are high. We play in a really good league, comparable to the Cascade. We're night in, night out. You're going to play against really good teams. There's no easy games on the schedule at all. But this kind of Crossroads Cascade tournament's really exciting for me. Just a good friend of mine, Greg Tonigo, played high school basketball with him, and Scott Moore over at Grace. Just being in the NAI level for 2 years, I've followed those guys and those programs and, the national tournaments when they played the Oregon Techs and Cascade Conference teams. It's exciting to have 2 leagues from different parts of the country, very successful programs compete against each other. So we're really excited about it and look forward to it.
So Eddie, you both of you guys, I want to ask you both the same question, but Eddie, you had a kind of a calculus to make. It's a huge commitment to agree to go halfway across the country, play in a four team tournament. Talk about that decision process and why you felt this was good for Bushnell.
Yeah, honestly, for myself personally, I made the decision within about 5 seconds. It was pretty quick and easy. I think it's kind of a no-brainer in regards to putting our program in a spotlight to be seen on the national level. With the new ranking systems and stuff that have come out, it's really important for us to be playing some strong non-conference opponents. Eugene's a tough area, believe it or not, to get people to come play us. Even on the West Coast, it's been extremely difficult to get home games in our non-conference schedule. So we know that we're going to have to be road warriors quite often. Better the quality of the opponent, the better we're going to be in the long run, especially preparing us for the Cascade Conference. I respect tremendously the job that Justin's done over at OIT, and Coach Danny Miles, obviously nationally known as an amazing coach and individual. And when I got the job at Bushnell, one of the phone calls I received was from Coach Danny Miles, just welcoming me to the conference. And obviously Coach Lip, one of our storied coaches here at Bushnell, was a friend of his, and he's Coach Lip's a mentor of mine, and Coach Miles had some really nice things to say about Coach Lip and about myself, and so it was a really developed that relationship kind of through with OIT even before I had the relationship, and so being able to compete with OIT annually is a really big thing for me, just because I know the history of the program. So when we had this option to be able to go compete nationally, it was just a real no-brainer for me. Obviously, I had to communicate with our athletic director and twist his arm just a bit, which only took about 5 minutes. So I think we were all in on that. It was a great opportunity for us and for our guys who've been working so hard, and I believe are going to be able to do something special. To be able to put themselves in an opportunity to have something like this to look forward to is really big for us, and hasn't hurt our recruiting either. So I can definitely say that we're using this as an advantage in our recruiting to get the kind of quality of guys and the level of talent that we really want, and having this opportunity to go compete and travel nationally is really big for us.
Steve, you had to go through that same decision process to, agreeing to come out to Oregon in 2023. I mean, talk about why you made that decision for Bethel.
Yeah, kind of similar to Coach. It took me about 5 seconds to make a decision. I called our athletic director, Tony Natale, our staff, and wanted to do my due diligence and get their thoughts. But yeah, it was a no-brainer for us to be able to play against a league like the Cascade, Bushnell, and Oregon Tech, and just the caliber of conferences they are, and coaching and the players, and so it's going to be really exciting. And like you mentioned, the post Trevion Cruz, it's kind of similar to Coach. When he kind of took over, we had 4 guys on our roster that were coming back, so we kind of did a wholesale change as well, brought in 11 new players, and so just kind of trying to build the program, and similar to Coach, that trying to get like-minded guys, 4-year type guys, develop them over the course of 4 or 5 years now, if you count COVID, guys redshirting and those kind of things. So yeah, really excited about it. Like Coach mentioned as well, our league, the coaches in our league are such, great coaches, but also great people. I think the majority of the coaches in our league, from Greg Tonigal to Scott Moore, reached out to me when I got the job, and just a special group, as I know the Cascade Conference is. So really looking forward to it. I think, like Coach mentioned too, our recruiting, it's definitely going to be something we use to be able to play a couple games on a national stage like this. Our guys are going to be excited about it. You talk about the new rankings. You go 0-2, in this type of tournament. That could help you,
right?
Believe it or not, because the caliber of teams you're playing, even if you go 0-2. So you want to play against the best, and you look at our 2-year record, our conference record. In our 2 years is 22-21, and our non-conference record is 23-2. Just looking at, and so you want to play. We're really, as a staff, trying to play better teams and teams that'll challenge us and that will prepare us for our league and for hopefully national tournament.
Hey, so both of you guys, I'm gonna get you on in an extended interview to talk about this season. But I'd like to give you the opportunity today. Eddie, let's start with you. Just give us a glimpse of what we can expect from the Beacons this year.
It's early, right? And we've had the luxury of being able to actually have some summer workouts this year, which we didn't have last year. And so being able to watch a few guys and see the guys play together, our chemistry is something that I've been extremely surprised about with the amount of new guys that we've brought in again this year. But, the depth of talent that we have is going to allow us to not have to play some of our main guys as many minutes. So that's been something that really hurt us. I mean, we played that shortened 12-game spring season, and we lost on a half-court shot. We lost at OIT by 3 points on Friday nights, and won all the rest of our Friday night games, and won a couple Saturday games. But our big losses were on Saturdays,
right.
And we did not play well on Saturdays because last year during the first half of the season we lost 4 or 5 guys due to COVID reasons, leaving school and other issues, and so and 4 of those guys were rotational players, and so we were really short this last spring season and just didn't have the depth that we needed, and that really showed up in our second games, just guys not having the legs. And so this year the big difference is going to be our depth. Obviously the depth of talent is really huge, and OIT's, for instance, a school that has that. When they go to the bench, sometimes they even get better, and you don't always see that. And so that's something that we're challenging ourselves to be like in regards to our depth of talent. We worked really, really hard at bringing in guys even at the 9, 10, 11 spot that can really give us some good minutes and are a really good scoring threat to where, we probably won't even be starting our best 5 players this year. And so that could really give us an advantage when we go to our bench. So the depth is what I would say is going to be the big difference.
Steve, Eddie brought up a great point. You played NC2A D1 ball where you did those 4-minute timeouts. I that's one of the things I really love about NAI ball is, you basically play through the half. I think it's a completely different game.
It really is. I felt that at that level with, the 4 media timeouts, each half, and then each team got 5 timeouts. I mean, you've got, 18 timeouts in a 40-minute game that you could use. And so there's a lot of times you don't have to be in the greatest shape. Obviously you want to be able to go up and down and have those short spurts and all that, but you're right. I mean, our guys have to be in shape, and to kind of mirror what Coach mentioned about his team, the depth for us is something we've really tried to build these couple years. We've, unfortunately, no excuses. We've had a bunch of injuries the last couple of years. We lost 3 of our top 6 guys to knee injuries last year for the season. And when you lose top guys in the Crossroads League, it's challenging. It's tough. It's tough to win when you have your full roster, let alone have a couple guys out. We were fortunate to kind of get a spark at the end and make a tournament run. But we're trying to add depth. Obviously with Cruz out, we got our next 8 best players back this year, and we feel like we've added a couple good pieces. So we're going to play a decent amount of guys. We want to play 10, 11 guys and keep the pressure on, and hopefully not lose a whole lot when we go to our bench and go from there. But it's the depth in our league is you got to have it, and you got to have your guys healthy. We've put in some stuff this summer and fall, FMS testing, to try to find areas on our guys' bodies of vulnerabilities and try to be proactive with it. We've kind of revamped our strength conditioning program to try to stay away from those types of injuries. But the depth is going to be huge for us this year, and like what we have just from each position standpoint, and really excited about it.
Yeah, you look across all the NAI, I mean, there's going to be so much talent because of the COVID rule. And it seems like every year the freshman class all across the country is stronger. I've been blaming it a little bit on so many schools going NC2A 3, which made less scholarships. That's the only, but the level of talent in the NAI is multiple levels higher than when it was when I watched as a young man. And I don't understand everything that goes along with it, but I think this year is going to be the highest level of talent ever.
I totally agree. I can't speak for Coach here, but I bet it's pretty similar with the Cascade. Is like we recruit Division I caliber players. I think to compete in our league, and I'm sure the Cascade as well, you've got to have 4, 5, 6 guys that are Division I caliber type players, and players that understand how to play. I think the parity in the men's game is so much better. There's so many more players with basketball trainers and AAU teams, and there's not a huge difference between Division I, Division II, to NAI level, because there's so much more parity.
I was just going to comment on that. Yeah, Bill. The Cascade Conference always seems to have several Division I transfers every year appear somewhere. For us, the players, a lot of the guys that we have skill-wise can compete and make D1 rosters. Obviously, sometimes there's that distinct difference to where the guy's a little bit bigger, a little bit faster, a little bit stronger, a little more athletic. But for the most part, skill set wise, I would venture to bet that a lot of our guys are far better than many D1 players. Just don't even have maybe they weren't blessed with the same God-given athleticism. We had the opportunity this summer to compete with the Oregon Duck alumni TBT team that played in the basketball tournament. And so against a team was full of professionals, and we lost that game by 5 or 6 points with a ragtag group of ours and a couple of Oregon alum, now one of them being an NBA player, Jordan Bell, which was pretty fun. But our guys were competing at that level against these pros and scoring and defending, and I was pretty impressed to see the growth of the skill set and the distinct lack of difference in abilities. To comment on that, what Coach was just saying about recruiting D1 talent and stuff and getting them to come to their programs and compete in this conference, it's starting to happen a little bit more in the Cascade Conference. I don't see it as widely as I've seen it in the Crossroads League, but it does pop up here in the Cascade Conference, and we do have some D1 transfers in our conference this year that should make a huge impact.
Well, I can tell you guys from a fan standpoint, I'm really excited about this tournament because I know that I mentioned this to the other guys. I really didn't understand the depth of the NAI until I really started following it on a national level and really understanding who Bethel was, who Grace was, who Indiana Wesleyan was, Jamestown. For fans to be able to see these teams up close, get to meet some of the players, get to really see what these programs are about, and they're not just a name on a tournament chart at the end of the season. I think will really help NAI basketball in these regions.
I definitely agree with you. Go ahead, Coach.
Yeah, I was going to say, for sure. I think, too, to speak what Coach said, just the offensive skill level. Like he mentioned, we may not have the bigger, faster, stronger type player, the athlete at a Division I school, but the offensive skill level, like Coach mentioned, might be better. Just because the lack of athleticism that players may have at this level, they got to compensate by just being more skilled, better shooters, those kind of things. I remember Indiana Wesleyan, Greg Tonigal and Jeff Clark done a great job over there. They had a D1 transfer, 3 or 4 years ago before I got in the league. And, he was the 5th or 6th best player on the team. Here's a Division I transfer that played good minutes at a Division I school.
Yeah.
So I just think, the depth and just the offensive skill. I think the coaching is phenomenal. Just trying to get the most out of their players. I think culture is such a, being fortunate to having coached at different levels, Division I, Division II. What I've seen at the NAI, the Crossroads League, and I'm sure amongst NAI, is just the culture that coaches have in their programs. Guys that love each other, care about each other, that the chemistry's there. They get the most out of their abilities. There's a higher calling than just winning games. And you just see the camaraderie, the chemistry amongst NAI teams. And, I think coaches at this level get the most out of their teams, not taking things away from other levels. But I think that's something that's huge for the NAI is just the culture is so good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely a family feel, which is what has always pulled me toward it. Because it's not only good basketball, but I've been involved with it pretty much my whole life. But you get to know the players and their families and their brothers and their sisters, and it's a whole different feel than showing up in a 10,000 seat stadium, watching the game, and leaving.
Sure.
Well, guys,
I'll take 10,000 fans though whenever I get a chance.
Hey, we bring as many from Klamath as we can get in there, Eddie.
Yeah, you guys travel well. That's nice.
Hey, guys, I really appreciate you taking the time this morning. Like I say, I definitely will get you guys on for a more extended interview before the season starts. Steve, you and I already communicated by email. I really look forward to making my Indiana swing in November, getting up there and getting to watch a basketball game in Mishawaka. And Eddie, God willing, and the creek don't rise, we'll all get to run into each other this year. Last year was the first year in my entire life, I didn't go to a basketball game, and that can't stand again. So,
well, I look forward to seeing you in the gym, Bill.
Hey, thanks a lot, guys. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Billy, can't thank you enough for putting this on, man. We're super excited about it.
Oh, thank you very
much.
much.
Coach Steve, we'll see you soon, and we'll come quick enough.
Yeah, same to you, Coach. Appreciate it.
All right, you guys have a great day.
You too.